Yeah. And then we're going to get right into it. Because we're late. And I don't like being late. I'm sending a new invite you guys. We're on a different page. Change plans. Okay. Bam. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Sorry I'm late, but we're here. So let's not trip. Let's not cry over spilled milk. Could you hand me those small jars that's sitting on the bench, please? One sec, be right back. Ryan! Sorry, could you hand me those little jars? All the little jars. And the big ones. Thank you. I'm ready. And I'm missing the tops, but that's okay. Hey! Hey, Peach Peach. Alright, so now that we're here, we're going to just get started. If you can, Peaches, could you text my sister, tell her I figured it out. We are on here, we are figured it out. And don't y'all come on here acting bougie, all right? Y'all know what time it is. We making medicine in the kitchen, so I got 2 cameras, 2 microphones. I'm fancy. You see the brand. I would have my mug, but I've been running around. I don't got time to be drinking my tea right now, but you know, we all here. So, what's up? My name is Super Sojay, aka Sojay Ashaya. I said I forgot to text my sister that I figured it out. Yup. Please. And Nene. Okay, so we're going to talk about fire cider, and if you guys don't know, and if y'all can see me looking back and forth, it's because we have multiple cameras over here, okay? Because we have to go live in multiple places. So, if anybody has any questions, please drop them, please, so that I will be able to read them and answer them. Okay, so let's just talk about what is a fire cider. A fire cider is an herbal vinegar. So an herbal vinegar is when you take vinegar and you put herbs and things in it to make it medicinal, so that you can extract or take out the properties that you are, one second. So that you can take out the properties from the plant and infuse it into the, sorry y'all, I'm gonna put this on. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, so a fire cider is a popular name. So it's like a nickname of something that has existed since forever. So back in the day, they just used to call it herbal vinegars. And a herbal vinegar is when you take vinegar and you use it to take out the medicinal properties or the active ingredients inside of a substance. Usually this substance is alive, which is a plant. We usually don't do this with meat and things like that. It's usually plants. So when you take a plant and you put it in some vinegar and you let it sit, over time, the vinegar actually draws out all the important things out of that plant, and that's why you chose it. So we're going to go over why I chose some of the ingredients for the recipe that I posted above, and then we'll talk about some of the ingredients that you can substitute for it. Because again, I'm going to show you how to do it, but you can use anything in your kitchen, and I'll tell you why. All right. So a fire cider was actually coined by this woman, Rosemary Gladstar. And I think that's so cool that she's a herbalist. And I think that it's so cool that she's a herbalist, and then she also but her name is Rosemary because, again, it's a plant, and then she grew up to do this. So maybe her parents named her that, or maybe she legally changed her name. Who knows? But yeah, so Rosemary Gladstar, so basically in the 70s, did you know that she got sued because a company was saying that you couldn't use the word fire cider? She calls hers a fire cider because she also adds, because you start with apple cider vinegar, and then she would add spicy things as well, because capsaicin, that's the stuff that makes spicy things spicy. That's the active ingredient inside of spicy things that make them spicy. So she adds that to her vinegar, and that's why she calls hers fire cider, because hers is a little spicy. I don't really do spice well, so we're not gonna see a lot of that in mine, okay? But anyway, the history of the word fire cider came from her. She coined the term fire cider, and you've seen it before. Those jars with all the goody ingredients in it. It looks so good. That's actually what it looks like while it's processing. But then once you're done, you strain it. You can use any type of strainer. You can use a fine mesh strainer like this. You can use a cheesecloth like this, and drain it all out. And then when you're done, you put it inside of a bottle like this. You don't have to use an amber glass bottle. I like to, because it makes it more shelf stable. It makes it last way longer. And then I also changed the tops out to ones that are like little droppers. So this is some fire cider that I've made in the past. And I like to put the ingredients in the recipe right on the front, because sometimes you lose your paper, sometimes you lose the file that you had it in, or you lose the recipe that you had online. We all know about that, screenshotting them recipes on the internet, and then you don't ever make it, right? So yeah, so I like to put it directly on the bottle. And then also, if I switch it up, I know, like if I tried this one, I'm like, dang, but that last batch I made was so good. It was better than my first batch. Now I have exactly what was in that particular batch. So a label doesn't have to be something like this. A label can be something like this. And this is what we're going to be using today to label everything that we have. Okay. So again, fire cider is just a popular name for a herbal vinegar. If you want to make a quick one of these, you need to just put it on the stove, put it on low, and then make sure that it's not getting more than 100 degrees. You literally put it on low, let it add all of the things that you want, and let it cook for a second. Maybe if you want to do like a honey or something like that, you could cook it for like 4 hours. It's just as potent, but you have to watch it like a hawk, because again, the temperature matters. If you cook it too high, then you kill all the good bacteria in the apple cider vinegar. And then if it's honey, you'll kill the good properties of honey. So let's talk about some of our ingredients. So, I forgot to finish telling you the history of fire cider. My bad. So with fire cider, Miss Rosemary Gladstar, she basically, she was making fire cider. Her and a whole bunch of herbalists was selling them. They were teaching people how to make them. They were teaching workshops. They were like, in their world of herbalism, just, spreading the word about the old ancient ways of making things. So then this company wanted to make fire cider, and they were like, hey, you can't use this name anymore, we're trying to trademark it. So basically her and the Cider Five, her and 4 other people, went to court, and it went pretty far. It was a battle, and pretty much they won. They showed that it has existed since the beginning of time, and the ingredients and what it is belongs to the people, belongs to the world. And if they would have been able to trademark the word fire cider, we would not be able to use it today. So it definitely was a win for herbalism, definitely was a win for people who believe in all things natural, and I'm happy that she did it. So I'm happy that she was on my school book list, because definitely have it. I love her books. A lot of her books are sorry y'all, I was calling people trying to get help, and now they're calling me back. So a lot of her books are like very, very beginner friendly, and she puts pictures in them. So if you want to learn how to garden, if you want to learn how to do all type of like beginner stuff like that, then she definitely is a jack of all trades. I am not. That's my future me in the herbal community, because I do not garden. So I get the herbs made, and then I make stuff out of it. I'm a manufacturer, I'm a formulator, and maybe in the future I'll be a gardener, but right now I'm not. But Rosemary Glasstar is. So if you want to get into gardening, if you want to learn how to turn your plants and your crops into herbs, she definitely is a great person for that. And I thought it was pretty dope. She is a white person, but she definitely advocates for the entire community. And I feel like if you're an ally, then you cool. You know what I'm saying? You can sit down. Yeah, I'll make you a plate. So, okay. So now that we know that Rosemary Glasstar is the reason why we call it a fire cider, I just think it's really, really cute to keep calling it that. But yeah, so let's get into the herbal vinegars. So if you add honey to a herbal vinegar, it becomes a ace tums. I've never really said it out loud because I've just been typing it. So if you want to see the word, it's ACETUMS. ACETUMS. So an acum or acum, acetums is when you add honey to a herbal vinegar, because one, honey is antibacterial, it's antimicrobial. So you put the honey inside the vinegar, and that adds to what it can do for you, right? So then also what the honey does, vinegar is like not so pleasant. So when you add the honey to the vinegar, it makes it more palatable. Like it's not so gross. And then depending on what you put inside of your apple cider vinegar, it'll taste better or more bitter. So I've made I've made herbal vinegars that had orange peels, grapefruit peels, lemon peels, and rosemary, a little bit of cayenne. I posted one of those recipes. That was recipe number 3 or 4. So go and check that out in one of my previous videos, telling you what they do and which one should you pick and what ingredients should you pick depending on what your needs are. But I've made plenty of different recipes of this, and you can too. So I gave you a recipe, but that does not mean that this is the only way it can be made. Okay, so let's talk about some of the ingredients and why I chose them. I chose horseradish, which looks disgusting. I did not want to touch it. I couldn't believe that I found it in the store. This is horseradish. Kind of like the big mama of ginger. Y'all see that? Boom. And we're going to treat it just like ginger today. We're going to peel it with a spoon. We're going to cut it up. And then we're going to make it like that. Then we also have some ginger. See some ginger? Got some ginger. So the reason why we're using horseradish, I don't know how to say a scientific name, but let's talk about why we use scientific names. We use a scientific name so that you know which one it is and to make sure it's the same strand. So you might use one from one country and it's super, super important. And then and then you can hear about it in another country and it might not act the same way. So when we use the scientific names, it makes sure that the product is the same product. So for an example, when I look up passion flower, I always look for passion flower incarnata, because passion flower incarnata is the one that I've used before, it's the one that I'm familiar with, and it's the one that I know the dosage for. So if I use a different strand, so if said passion flower, this does not exist, I'm just an example, passion flower beautifunata might be very, very different. And so if you are using something, using the scientific names definitely helps you out. It tells you that you're using the right kind. So the reason why we use horseradish is because it is a stimulant. So when you put it in your body, it gets the body going, literally, your metabolism, everything. It's a diuretic, so if you have issues going to the bathroom, it kind of opens and relaxes the urethra and allows your urine to pass out, to get out. It's antimicrobial, so it kills microorganisms. It's an expectorant. It's an expectorant, which means that when you're trying to get we cough as a physical expectorant. So this is something that will make you get it all out. It takes things out. Export, so expectorant. And then if you want to know, it's warming, it's spicy, and it is very pungent. So that's why I chose this one. I chose ginger for some of the same reasons. Ginger is anti-inflammatory. It's an antiseptic. So it also kind of like sterilizes anything that it touches as it's going through your body. It's also warming. It's also stimulant. And it's also drying. So sometimes when you have too much mucus, you need something drying. So if you're looking up herbs and they're telling you like all these adjectives about it, those are called energetics. And the reason why energetics are important is because, like, let's say you've been coughing all day and you want something soothing. You might not use peppermint because peppermint is cooling, right? And that might not soothe you. But if you burning up and you just like, oh my God, you just went for a run, you might want something cooling. So peppermint might be your best friend that day. So then if you ran a mile, you might not want peppermint. You might not want ginger, which is warming. So when you think about warming, think about what happens when you get warm. You get all sweaty. Your heart rate gets going. So that's something like if you ever tasted ginger or a ginger shot, we know that like ginger is kind of spicy and it warms up the body. It warms up the palate and it makes you salivate, right? So when we're choosing ingredients, sometimes if you don't really know which to choose, think about how you are when you're in that state that you're trying to fix. So if you're sick, if you love drinking cold water and it just makes you feel better, then maybe your herbal thing should have cooling things in it. So knowing those energetics about and those words, those adjective words can really, really help you know which this or that. Okay. So another one that's warming is garlic. So we're going to be using garlic. So you can use whole garlic heads, but for the purpose of this live, we are not. We're going to be using these. So I'm going to show you how to measure, and then I'm going to show you how to just do it straight off the dome, okay? We're going to season with our hearts for one of them. So then onion. I added onion. We added onion because it's antimicrobial. It's a diuretic. It's an export. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It's anti-inflammatory, it's warming, and it's moistening. It's moistening, that's important because sometimes when you're not feeling well or you have some type of cold or you have some type of respiratory situation, sometimes when people say, oh, I need to wet my whistle, like you just need a little water. When it's warming and it's moistening, that's kind of like when you keep clearing your throat or your throat is itchy. So if you find something and you look it up on Google and you look up the energetics of something and it tells you that it's warming and it's moistening, think about, do you need that? Like, is your throat scratchy? Would some moisture help you out? So then that's how you know that that's the herb that you need to be trying that day. So for onion, it being warming and moistening, that's a great thing to put inside of this mix. Another one I picked was garlic. Garlic was warming. It's dry. It's stimulating. It's antimicrobial. It's an antioxidant. So it brings oxygen to the blood. It's a circulatory stimulant. So a circulatory is all your veins and stuff. So it gets your veins going and doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, it's an expectorant. It's an expectorant, which means that it makes you cough it out, right? Okay, so, and if you guys want sources, if you want the books, some of the books that I'm using is the Modern Herbal Dispensary, a medicine making guide. I'm using S. Tilger. You guys can ask me for the authors, because I did also include the sources in my chart. So, another thing we're using is thyme. Thyme is antimicrobial. It's an expectorant. It's antispasmodic. So if you feel like you keep dry heaving, like because like you're sick, right? Sometimes if you use something that's an antispasmodic and it calms it down, so some of these things in this blend is gonna make it come out. Like instead of you having to keep coughing, it's just gonna make it come out. And then some of the stuff, Modern Herbal Dispenser, the Modern Herbal Dispensatory, a medicine making guide, is from 2026 from North Atlantic Books. This how it's too bright for me to show you, but if you send me a message, send me a DM, and I will send you this book title. And I actually have the books too, so I also can send pictures if y'all want the pictures of these books, so you can know what you're looking for. The Onion book, we got that from Easley T and Horn S to 2016. The Modern Urban, same book. So that was Easley T and Horn S. Easley T and Horn S 2016. And that's where we got that book. So this is how you read those books. If you are interested in how to read these books, this is how you do it. When they list a herb, they also tell you the energetics. If you're just joining us, hey, what's up, y'all? If the energetics, it tells you if it's warming. What does it do once it's inside the body? Peppermint is one that's super easy. You should know about that one. Peppermint, when you take peppermint, it's cooling. When you take something that's spicy, it's warming. So think about it. When you're warm, your mouth gets wet. That's what you're trying to do, okay? So some of these herbs, when you're like, man, should I use onion or garlic? I just told you that garlic was warming and drying. So if you're trying to get that wet, like you kind of feel like you choking a little bit because you got so much mucus in your throat, garlic might be your friend. But then if you like, man, I just keep, if that's you, then what does it say about onion? Onion says it's warming and moistening. Okay, so this is how you tell. So when these books, when they're telling you the energetics of a plant, is what happens, what type of energy does it give the body once it's inside of it. And then when we talk about compounds, a lot of these compounds look very intimidating, but once you learn the words and once you get familiar with it, you can do it. Just how we grew up with these long syllable names, and we can say Balenciaga, we can say, you know, all of these other kind of things. You can learn these words too. I'm learning them. I butcher them, so I try not to say them out loud until I keep practicing. But in the future, I'm gonna be a beast, okay? So like if you see something that says flavonoids is what gives most things its color, which is really, really cool. So if it has a lot of flavonoids in it, you know it has a lot of color and it's very pungent, and it's the smell. It's like the sensory things. If it has an active ingredient like capsaicin, we know that it's spicy. So let's just start. Let me go over a little bit more things why we chose them. Mustard seed. I actually want to read an excerpt in what I told my teacher why I chose mustard seed, because it was such a cool it was such a cool thing that I found out. Okay, we're also using cinnamon. It's antimicrobial, it's circulatory, it's a stimulant, and it's an astringent. So again, these that say that they're astringent, they would even be good to clean your house. So they said that cinnamon is an astringent, garlic is an astringent, but the problem with these things is that sometimes the smell lingers, and that's why we don't really use them for certain things. Cayenne pepper. So like an example, this active ingredient is capsaicin. It is a diaphoretic. It's very, very warming. And then honey is antimicrobial, and it's a demectulant. A demectulant means that it takes mucus out. Okay, so this is the reason why I really, really chose this excerpt on why I chose mustard seeds. the funny thing, I actually know what it says, so I'm not gonna read it directly. So, the reason why I chose mustard seeds was that it was this study, this book from a long time ago, and they were saying how mustard seed has this active ingredient, and they were using it to treat asthmatics. And the reason why they was using it to treat asthmatics was because when the asthmatics would take it, it would thin out their mucus and it will make them cough it out. So I was like, mustard seed? And it said mustard seed had that same active ingredient similar to the root horseradish or the rhizome horseradish. And I was just like, so I'm going to put horseradish and mustard seed in my herbal vinegar because I wanted to make sure that, because I'm asthmatic, and I was just like, I need my lungs cleared out. Why not? So I tried it, and the funny story is that I gave some to my sister. She was just like super stuffy, and she hates being stuffy, and so she tried it, and she started hacking and coughing so hard that she was like, I'm scared, and I was like, it's okay. So I started patting her back, and when I tell you, she was just leaking for like a couple seconds, but then like a minute later she was fine, and she said, oh, that worked. So yeah, so the reason why, if you saw my post, the reasons why I had one that said 25 grams and one that said 50 grams was because first class, my original one I made right here was this size. So when I put 50 grams of every single thing I just named, thyme, cinnamon, honey, horseradish, all of the things that I just named, garlic, all of that, it filled up all the way to the top, and I barely had any room. And I didn't want it to come out bad, so then I cut it in half, and I did one for 25 grams as well. So I did one for 25 grams. It filled up about halfway of this jar. So if you need a visual, if you don't have a scale today, that's okay, because it's like half of this is 25 grams, and then half of this one is 50 grams. My sister was so congested that I gave her the 50 gram one, and that's also what's inside of this bottle. So again, it starts off inside the jar, and then you drain it after 4 weeks. And then after that, you get a liquid. So if you want to see what the liquid looks like, give me 1 second. Whoop. I'm going to pour some out so you can see. Oh yeah, we in the kitchen. So this is what it looks like once it's done. This is the bottom of the bottle, so of course it's a little bit darker than normal. Let y'all see it over here too. So when you drain it, it's gonna look transformed, okay? Which I think is super cool. So if you want to make one that's really pretty, you want to do citruses, you want to put cloves in it, you can put anything that you want. And if you want to look it up and see like what does each one do, look at your symptoms and then look up some herbs that can help with that symptom and then put it in a jar. Who knew that thyme was such a great soother and that it took a lot of stuff out? Nia, she was like, I'm scared. You did say that, right? Tell the people that I'm not lying on you. Okay. So I chose fire cider number 1, and if y'all want to make other fire ciders in the future, please let me know, and we'll come back live and we'll do them, and I'll supervise. But we chose fire cider number 1 because all together these things are going to work together. It's a strong expectorant, which means it breaks up thick stuck mucus, the mucus that's stuck to your lungs that you feel like you just can't get out. Yep. It's a decongestant. It's antiviral, antibacterial. So that's our garlic, our onion, our thyme. Our warming circulatory stimulant, that's our ginger, our cinnamon, and our cayenne pepper. It's a digestive stimulant. So this one is really important. It's important to take vinegars, and as soon as something is bitter, as soon as it gets in your mouth, your body starts digesting it. So if you drink something or you taste something super bitter and then your stomach bubbles, that's good because it's activating your digestive system. So don't be alarmed. It actually is helping you. So a part of it being a vinegar is that when it hits your taste buds, your body goes, ooh. And that ooh feeling means that it's working, okay? So let's just grow up and let's start taking some things that's nasty because it also stimulates the digestive system. And a part of you being sick or you having a flu or something like that is also congestion. So when you can get all of it out and then you can you know, use the bathroom and get all of those germs and slime and digestion and decongestion. You get it all out. So from every end, okay? So you said you need a cleanser. So if you wanted to make this at home, you can use your apple cider vinegar, and you can use more warming herbs. So like yours can focus on cinnamon, spicier things like cayenne pepper. You can use things like that I was talking about that was warm. Definitely use those. So onion. So I mean, this will work for you too. I just made sure that mine can break up mucus. All right. And then it's immune supportive. So when you give your body everything that it needs, it really will show you that it can get itself better. So these things do not cure your colds. Let's just get that straight. Herbs do not cure your colds. They support your body doing what it was made to do. So it's like Popeyes did not become a superhero. Him eating spinach gave him the strength to do those things. But even when Popeyes didn't eat the spinach, he was always cock diesel. He was always big. You know what I'm saying? You could always see his muscles. But when he ate the spinach, it really gave him the strength that he needed to make it all happen. All right, so let's just start making some. If you have some questions, please let me know. I'll try to multitask. And so yeah, here's my scale. And I'm doing what I have to do to have my own little Amazon storefront so that I can be like, just click the link in the bio and it's all there. And that way, when we make things, you literally can just go to my Amazon or my storefronts or my artist cabinet or someplace, and all you will have to do is just download everything and buy it all in 1 second. And then I'm also thinking about making these little kits for you so that you can make it at home. For those people who don't want to get all the supplies, or you know, you're just not into it and you just want to, you know, have a family activity, that's cool. So I'm going to tuck my chair in, and okay, so this is my scale. I don't know if everybody can see. Let me move this. Hopefully both cameras can see what I'm doing, but okay. So if you are making the 25 gram one, which is, so it's the same thing as the 50, but the 50 means that every dose that you take is double the dose, you know? So you can take less of it so you can think about it like that. And a dose is usually something like this. This is about 5 milliliters, and for you guys who have children or who's ever given children medicine, or for you healthcare professionals, when you use those little syringes to get a medicine, the skinny one is 3 milliliters, and the kind of fat one, like the size of my pinky, the kind of fat one, that's 5 milliliters. Or if you have those little tops, the little medicine tops, it's usually 5 milliliters, and then the big tops, that's on side of like top of like Pepto-Bismol, I think those are like closer to 10 milliliters. So yeah, so to use a scale, I'm gonna point my camera down just a little bit. You tear it. Sorry, Facebook is not as clear as the Instagram one will be, but you know, we're working with it. So if you tear it, you can put, let me get actually a smaller container and a knife. Oh, sorry, camera number 2. So you can tear it. Tearing it means if you put something on top of it, it doesn't count that weight. So we're going to put this down, and it says 11 grams. So then you tear it so that when you get your weight, it doesn't include whatever you put on it before you press the button tear. T-A-R-E. It's on every scale. So if you want 25 grams, so that, let's just do one that's super simple, like thyme. Because we're going to use a whole sprig, unless you're not, that's 2 grams. And the reason why I like doing a weight is because if you do it visually, it all looks like it's the same when it's actually not. And I actually think this is wrong. That says that whole pack was 10 grams. That's 11 grams. So since that was 10, I'm going to do this one. I'm just checking this to make sure it's not molded. Okay. That's 23 grams. I'm actually not going to use this one because I feel like it's a little wet and it's not supposed to be. So we're back to 12. Let's see. That's 28 grams. So you can either leave it at 28 grams or take some off. So now we're at 25 grams. This is what 25 grams of thyme looks like. But this is another reason why I like to measure. Because one person might say 1 tablespoon. Another person might not fill a spoon up. So, you know, or your spoon might not be the same size as my spoon. So let's tear it again. So it's 0. That garlic clove was 2 grams. You know, 18, 19, 20. So these little cloves of garlic, the tiny, tiny ones, like that, about that big, they're about 1 gram each. That's 22 grams. 24, 25. So now we got 25 grams of this. I like to blend it up sometimes so that I can make more room. And then also because we want it to be extracted. So either you can cut this up or you can blend it up. Or you can just put it in the jar whole. And see, this is a jar from spaghetti. The reason why I like buying this jar is because it has measurements on the side. So we're just opening it, taking our time, literally stuffing it in, nothing deep. And if you do not have fresh thyme, you can use regular dry thyme. And I have regular dry thyme. This is regular dry thyme. And the person who said that they needed to be cleaned out, you can use like cardamom, cloves. Let me get those so you can see what the bottles look like. If you have joint pain and stuff like that, I highly recommend you putting some turmeric in there. We're done with this. So my chair is gonna be my assistant. If you said, like, if you feel like you need some like serious like, you know, you want to just make your own cough syrup sometimes too, you can use cardamom, you can use some cloves, cinnamon, some black pepper. So all these things come out your kitchen and they actually have medicinal properties. Okay, so that's 25 grams of thyme. Let's put our garlic in there. And when you're making things like extractions of any kind, if you want the liquid to take it out of there, the smaller the unit, like the smaller it is, the more surface area of the liquid touching the item that you put in there, and it makes it even more potent. So y'all see, this is nothing too deep. We just stuffing it in there. This is if you're measuring. If you don't want to measure, you do not have to. Sometimes when you cooking something, after a while, you be like, about that much. Yeah, that's enough. And the reason why you know it's that much is from experience. So now I know that 25 grams in the future, 25 grams is about 2 of these little containers. So sometimes once you learn how to make something, just remember what it felt like or what that looked like. So I'm going to tear my scale again. So mine says negative 14. I know that that's not correct. So now it's 0. That is 36 grams. Let's try it again. That's 29 grams. So as you can see, that's 23 grams. Eyeballing it sometimes is not as accurate as we would like. But if it's 25 grams, you know how much is in that jar. You know what strength it is. All right. So about the palm of my hand is 25 grams. So that means if you were doing 50 grams, you would need about 2 of these. So this is about 50 grams. So I had to blend it so that I can make sure that all of this fit inside of this little tiny jar. So those pictures that I was uploading, the one that said Big 50 on the front, it was this stuff literally packed all the way to the top. And when it was done, so this one said little 25. Look how dark that is. So the Big 50 had double the amount of ingredients in it. All right. If y'all have any questions, please ask me a question and I will definitely address you as soon as I see it. All right. So far, we have our thyme. We have our garlic in here. Let's peel some ginger. So if you got a kid that's always runny-nosed, that's always coughing, that can't never seem to get it out, this is perfect for you. I also made some elderberry syrup. So the reason why we peeling this a little bit, because remember that thing about when you put stuff in liquids, if you want the liquid to work, it has to be able to touch it. So the more it's exposed, the skin is protecting this, almost making it waterproof. So we taking the skin off, even though it's a pain in the butt. We taking the skin off so that we can get that liquid touching it. So boom, I just peeled it. We're going to drop it in there. My table is a mess, but it really don't matter, y'all. Like, you just peel it. I use spoons to peel my ginger. Just push down. You use your thumb. And as y'all can see, we are almost done. It's not as complicated as knowing what every single thing is. Sometimes you just kind of go with your heart. You can use garlic powder. You can use onion powder if that's all you have. Fresh is the best because for this type of thing, because you need the vinegar to be able to draw it out. And it's kind of hard once it was already dried and blended. Okay. So just for convenience, I'm not cutting these up super small so we can keep going and y'all can see the recipe going. I should have probably picked the one that didn't have this plastic. Actually, I have more than one. So let's just use a different jar. You see, we freestyling. We moving everything to a different jar very quickly because I want y'all to be able to see in the jar, so we're just gonna change the jars. And I dropped a piece of garlic, so I'm gonna add one more piece of garlic. And we saw that I probably just lost 1 gram. And you people who used to measuring things in grams, this should be a breeze for you. Remember we said that little small piece is 1 gram. So we're going to drop 1 gram in. Okay, so we have our ginger. We have our garlic. We have our thyme. Let's put our cinnamon. And the reason why I like to tare is that it doesn't matter what's on your scale. If you tear it, that means including whatever on your scale is what's going to be included in the weight, okay? So we're dropping it. That's 8. That's 8 grams. I technically think this is incorrect because I made this before. All right, well, 9 grams, 19 grams. So probably half of one. That's 22. 25, whoa. So 25 grams were these. We're doing 25 grams for right now. Yeah, we're doing 25 grams. So I'm just breaking them, dropping them in. Breaking them, dropping them in. This is is a 25-gram batch. And again, if you want to do a 50-gram, you just literally double it. So, garlic, ginger, turmeric, everything. Y'all, I'm showing both cameras. I'm not talking to myself. Alright. Oregano. I'm adding oregano because oregano clears out the sinuses and it thins out the mucus, and I need that always in my life. So I'm tearing it. This is dry oregano. I don't have fresh. So it's probably going to be a little bit. So let's do about 10 grams. So 10 grams is about that much. So if you want to put it in my hand for reference, that's like 1 big handful of oregano, 2 big handfuls of oregano, and then a third. Alright. And you just shake it, make sure it all fits. So mind you, could you imagine I did 50 grams of every single thing inside of a tiny jar. So because they were the only jars I had at the time, I literally put them in this blender. I kept blending them up into like a mush. And then I was stuffing them in this jar. And then I took chopsticks to make everything fit. It was a whole thing, y'all. So check out those pictures that I uploaded, and I'll upload them again. And if you want to see them, I can send them to you so you can see what they look like. With the mustard seed, now with the mustard seed, because I read that article that I told y'all about that was talking about, this just popped in my head. If you feel like your scale is wrong, keep measuring everything as is. So we on 17 grams, 19 grams, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That is 25 grams. So when I did the oregano, this same amount was not the same weight. So if you're measuring flours, you probably would need a whole bag of flours, like a huge container of flours to equal the same amount. So we're going to just take those mustard seeds. And the reason why we're picking mustard seeds, I'm actually going to put this one in the blender. Because again, the mustard seeds are coated that makes them waterproof. And we want our vinegar to be able to touch it. Now, if you don't do this, that's fine. Don't trip. Don't trip. So, let's blend it. Show y'all since people want to see it. Just a couple times in this blender. And the reason why we're breaking it up is because, again, if the vinegar cannot touch it, if the liquid cannot touch it, if the alcohol cannot touch it, then how is it supposed to pull what you need out of it? So think about it like that. I'm letting it touch it. So if it's waterproof, you need to open it up. So that's how you know what stuff you need to peel and what stuff you can get away with not doing. Okay, so that is our 25 grams of mustard seed. Remember, mustard seed was that article that I found that they were treating asthmatics for, mustard seed was that thing that they were treating asthmatics for, and they said that it was thinning out the mucus in their lungs and helping them cough it out. So I'm putting mustard seed in mine. So if you don't got a mucus problem, if you don't ever get seasonal colds or summer colds or winter colds, if your baby nose ain't running, if your baby ain't coughing, then you cool, you don't need it. But if you do, put some mustard seed. Also, sometimes horseradish is hard to find, so if you use mustard seeds, it can replace it. But I'm not doing that. I'm going to use mustard seeds, and I'm going to be using horseradish, because what I say, you take it, it's that wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You take it, it's going to do what it needs to do, and it's going to get you on up out of there. You ain't got to keep taking this. This going to work, okay? How do we get the residue out? Will it change our measurements if we don't? The residue out of what? These containers? It doesn't have to be completely perfect, and that's why we tear. So let's say you had some left over in here. It's left over from when you measured, right? You set it down on your scale. Can y'all see what's blocking y'all? Okay. You set it down on your scale, right? Then you tear it again. So that means that it's going to take away anything that's already inside of this cup. So that's why it's so important to tear. That if you got leftover residue from honey, from anything that you used previous before this measurement, it just takes that and it includes, it subtracts that from the new measurement you're doing after you press the tear button, and it goes to 0. So let's say I accidentally measured my next measurement and this was sitting on my scale. This says this jar is 95 grams. That's a great question. And then I got a little bit left over of my oregano. So I put that on here. That's 108 grams. Now I'm ready to move on to my next thing. I tear it. It doesn't matter what's sitting on this scale. Once you tear it, it automatically deletes everything, and then you put it on there. I mean, after we blend what we weighed. So how do we get the residue out? Will it change our measurements if we don't? After we blend what we made. No. Because we're not using... Okay, one, you can use your vinegar that you're going to put inside your jar. You can use your vinegar to clean this out. And also, you see that's like a microdose. It's not that much in there. So basically, he was asking if you don't get the residue out of your blender, will it mess up your measurement? Also, you can use your fingers to get it out. You can use I don't know what my material is. A bendable rubber spatula. You can use that to get the residue out as much as you can. But also, to get that out, you can blend your next thing with the mustard seed. Because you see the mustard seed turn into a dust. You can blend something like ginger, which is going to make everything wet. And then it's all going in the same thing. So what I like to do is sometimes I measure everything. You can then take everything out and put it in a blender. And then dump everything back in here. So if you need to use liquid, you can use the vinegar that you're going to use to rinse this out and then pour that in here. So again, the measurements, it's only so that you can know how strong it was that time. So again, this is 25 grams. This is 25 grams. This is what it looked like before it was drained. But back in the day, people were not measuring. They literally was just filling this jar up. And you can see why that worked. Because I filled this up with this time. It looked like it's enough. I put 3 whole sticks of cinnamon in here. That seemed like it's enough. I put a handful of garlic in here. 3 handfuls of oregano. 3 handfuls of mustard seed. And did you see that when I measured out the mustard seed, it was around 25 grams. And then when I did the oregano, it was kind of the same visual amount. People been doing this since the beginning of time. So don't stress yourself out about that. Because to be honest, the measurements is so that you can get better at dosaging. Because again, I don't want to just teach you how to make stuff. I want to show you the why and the how. And dosaging is a huge intimidating thing for people. And it's something that I really, really felt intimidated about. So I felt like, man, if I could show them how I figure out dosaging, this is a great example. So I just, it's just some little extra stuff. But, yeah, so if you don't want to measure or you don't got a scale at home, don't feel bad like, oh, I can't do it. Yes, you can. Don't even worry about it. Okay. So then, but that was a great question. Great question. And I'm sure that people going to be thinking the same thing. So thank you for asking it. Okay. So this thing is gross. Ugh. I hate touching this. I'm going to pick a knob. Ooh. Y'all hear that shaking the table? God dang, this thing thick. All because, whew, look at that. Horseradish. This is what wasabi is made out of. When you go to get some sushi, that's what wasabi is made out of. So I'm going to scrape this off like I did the ginger. Ugh. Ugh. Now, y'all might not be grossed out by certain stuff, but I am. I ain't ashamed neither. Okay, let's tear it. How much is it? Dang, that's 95 grams. This thing heavy. So let's do a third of it. I actually didn't. Okay. Cut through it some. Let's break that up. 33 grams. Let's cut a little piece. Maybe it'll be the right size once I take the skin off. So what y'all been doing today? What's going on with y'all? Who all over there with y'all? What y'all got going on? Me? Nothing. I'm just making some fire cider. And little do y'all know is that I'm going to make some big ones too. You can make a big old jar. Any container that's glass. That's all you need. My hypothesis was right. I took the skin off and it took off the 3 grams that we needed. So I'm going to cut this up just a little bit because you see this is like super thick. I'm used to using knives, so don't be looking at me doing bad stuff, okay? Cut it down on your paper. Let me do it right. Because y'all don't do as I say, y'all do as I do. So I'm cutting it down. Okay, that's my 25 grams of horseradish. So the size of like 4 chicken bouillon cubes is how much you need. About, I would say, this is bigger than a cube of cheese. So I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 cubes of cheese. It's 25 grams of horseradish. What's the reason for only glass? Great question. The reason why it's only glass is because over time, vinegar and other liquids, even water, can break down plastic. So you don't want to put it in plastic. You don't want to put it in cardboard because y'all know about that cardboard stuff. But it's the same visual. When y'all get those cardboard cups and the cardboard straws, and then your cold drink kind of just eats through it eventually, it's the same thing. Also, this vinegar is going to take out, or the alcohol, like let's say we was doing this with alcohol, which is another option if y'all want to make this a tincture. It'll pull out the toxins from the plastic and put it inside your stuff that you're making. So glass is a sterile, poreless surface, and that's why we use glass. You don't use steel because vinegar and steel create rust. So we don't use steel either. The only thing that you can use is glass. It doesn't have to be high grade glass. It don't matter. It could be any type of jars that you have. The reason why we don't use these bottlenecks is because it's just too hard to get everything in and out. So y'all people who getting those oils that got all of the thyme and stuff in it, y'all leaving above y'all kitchens and y'all just letting it sit up there, no. If it was living, it will deteriorate inside that oil, inside that vinegar, and you're not going to be able to use it. So I hope y'all not doing that at home. That stuff is very pretty for decoration, but if you don't use it, you will lose it. So we use glass, and that's also the reason why in the ingredient list, in the non-perishable, the non-food items, that list, that's why I said you need something to go in between your top. Now, if your top is plastic, you don't have to put nothing in between. So think maybe a mayonnaise jar or something like that. They come with glass bottoms and then plastic tops. The reason why they have plastic tops is because of this very reason. They have vinegar. They have things in it that will break down what's in it. And they don't want that to happen. I actually said they're really weird. They are made of glass. Like, think about a mayonnaise jar or a pickle jar. Or like a pepper jar. It's a glass jar with a plastic top. The reason why they do that is that they don't want to put a barrier in between a metal top to make sure that it doesn't rust. So we do the same thing at home. If you made one of these and you keep feeling like all of your mixes and all your tinctures and everything that you make rust, it's because these are plastic. I mean, these are metal. And you have to put a barrier in between them. So I took a little piece of plastic, put it on top to block it. And that's it. So no matter what, that's what you're going to be doing at home. Because it's science. Even if you don't see science, it's always there. So yes, you can transfer toxins and free radicals into your food. And we don't want to do that. Okay? So we are almost done, y'all. We already did our garlic. We did our cinnamon. Let me look at my list and see what else we put in here. And also make a little list, because you go and get all this stuff and then you forget something. So we did horseradish. We did ginger. We did we do ginger? Yes, we did ginger. We did garlic. Now we got to do onion. We did thyme. We did mustard seed. Okay, y'all. We did cinnamon. Now, cayenne. I'm not putting a lot of cayenne in mine, okay? If you want yours to be a true fire cider, go ahead. I don't need mine spicy. And let me tell you something. It actually works. So one time I had some oxtail and they put pepper in it, like a Scotch bonnet pepper. I ate it on accident. And when I tell you, I felt like I'm allergic to some, I guess, I don't know. My throat don't like it. So I went to the bathroom. When I tell you, I was coughing, hacking my life away. My nose was running. My eyes was tearing. I coughed so hard. I was coughing up mucus. I was literally throwing up mucus. Capsation, baby. Capsation. It is not a fun process, but it only lasts a couple minutes, and then once it's done, when I tell you everything was clear, my chest wasn't hurt no more, my asthma wasn't messing me up no more, like I was clear. I was gonna ask about cayenne since it was a fire cider, so we put in cayenne, but I'm pumped. I'm not putting a lot of cayenne in mine. Ooh, Corey. My brother is on here, y'all. And okay, that's enough. This is a big bottle, okay? That was a lot. That's way more than I usually put, okay? Whew. That's a lot. Look. Peer pressure is a hell of a drug, because look how much cayenne is in there. Gross. Okay. Dang. I ain't mean to put that in there. That was a little. Okay, so for yours, big dog, go ahead. Put as much as you want of yours. Put as much as you want of yours. Okay, onion. Where is my onion? You know why I don't got onion right here? Because I kept looking at the garlic, thinking it was garlic. Be right back. And the good thing is I'm in my kitchen. So who knew all this food stuff was medicine? That's enough. Exactly. Tell him that's enough. You definitely gonna taste that much. What we getting into? Hey, what's going on? We are making some fire cider. Fire cider is a herbal vinegar. It's when you take different types of plants. So in our case, we're doing thyme, we're doing horseradish, mustard seeds, we're doing cinnamon, we're doing all these types of plants, and we're putting it inside of vinegar. We're gonna let it sit. We're gonna drain it out. We're gonna use a strainer, drain it out once it's done processing, and then we're gonna take it, and this is what's gonna get you together. This gonna get that cold out. This gonna make you stop coughing. This gonna thin out that mucus better than anything at the store-bought that you ever had. And it actually is medicinal. In the beginning of this live, I talked about the active ingredients. I talked about the energetics, like what does it do in the body. So for cooling stuff, that's like peppermint. For warming stuff, that's like the garlic and the onion. So we talked about a lot about the sciencey stuff behind why we're putting what we're putting in here. So once this live is over, you can go back and watch that. Or, man, if we got some time, once I'm done with this recipe, I'll repeat it for those who missed it in the beginning. But we're almost done, so we're going to keep going for the people who've been on the cliffhanger. So, yeah, fire cider is just like, it's when you take vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and you use it to draw out all of the medicinal properties out of these things. That's 70 grams. Whoa. So this recipe, I'm teaching people how to do 25 grams. This is so little. This is all the onion 25 grams is. And if you're making the 50 gram one, that's double this. So you just drop it in. That was it. That's all, folks. So we're going to take our apple cider vinegar now that we have all of our things in here. But I actually said I wanted to add some things this time just so y'all can see. So I'm going to add some clove. Hit that on top. All right. I'm going to add a little turmeric in here. You know, just to amp it up. Okay, in a minute I'm going to give up on the turmeric. But we did follow the recipe so far. So we put some turmeric in here. Now this going to taste real earthy, okay? So we got our apple cider vinegar. We're going to put it in here. And give me a second. As soon as I'm done putting the liquid in here, I'm going to go back over and read why we chose these ingredients. So, 2 things that you can do. You can either fill this whole thing up with vinegar, let that cook. I mean, not let that cook, but let that process over the 4 weeks, right? And then once you strain it, you can add the honey. Or you can do the honey now. You can put as much honey as you want to. But mind you, the honey is antibacterial and it's antimicrobial. So like if you had a wound and you was out in the wild, you literally can put honey on it. And people believe that honey can heal anything. So I have this big old thing of honey. It's hard to get out, so I'm not going to do that on camera. Just please trust that I'm going to put some in there. But I got to open another vinegar. So what did I call when we put apple cider vinegar and then we add honey to it? I said it in the beginning, but if you get it right, I got a prize for you. So what do you call a herbal vinegar when you add honey to it? And can anybody tell me a reason why we add honey to herbal vinegars? So you see, boom. Actually, I need to get one more thing. And I'm happy that I'm doing it in my own kitchen because when I forget stuff, I just go get it. Every time I go to a restaurant or every time I can, I always get chopsticks. One, because I know how to use them. Pretty nice. But also because told y'all I'm good with that, right? I keep these for processes like this. So I keep them in my drawer and I use it to make sure everything is in there. I put it at the bottom. I make sure we stir it up. So can anybody tell me why we add honey to herbal vinegars? I already told you one answer. I mentioned it earlier. Does anybody remember why do we add honey to our herbal vinegars? So this is the first stir. The second one, we're going to shake it up afterwards. It is. It's a sweetener. So we add, so because vinegar and some of these things in here, like my brother peer pressured me, putting some spicy things in here, it cuts the spice down if you're making it spicy like a true fire cider. Or if, what's another reason? I already told you one of the reasons. So y'all can say the reason I just said. Alright, so while we wait and see if anybody guesses that, let's go back over fire ciders. Fire ciders are herbal vinegars. Herbal vinegars means that you take, oh, here's another fun fact. You can do this with pretty much any liquid. It is antimicrobial. It is antimicrobial. Okay, he listening. That's why I'm married. He sound like a keeper. He sound like a husband. Okay, so let's read some of these things. Reasons why we chose these specific ingredients. I already told you one. We added the here it is. We added the mustard seeds because I read in this book, in this article, they were treating asthmatics with mustard seed. And this is before they had inhalers, y'all. So a lot of the modern medicine is truly modern. Only the past 50 years. So when our parents were small, some of the stuff that we have today did not exist. Okay, so they were using mustard seed to treat asthma. It thinned out the mucus in the lungs and made them cough it out. So I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm using mustard seeds. And then I found out that they were using it because they didn't have horseradish. So horseradish and mustard seed had the same active ingredient. So that's why we added mustard seed and horseradish, because it's custom. I feel like a lot of people have mucus in it, so that's why I posted this recipe, because I felt like who wouldn't need that? And then also to make sure that, you know, I had it myself, because I'm not making this for fun. I'm actually going to use this. As you can see, I drained it. I put it in the bottle. I'm going to use some tape as my label today. I'll make another one later on. But the reason why we use horseradish was because it's a stimulant. So when you put it inside the body, it gets the body going. It gets everything moving again. It is antimicrobial. It's an expectorant. It's warming. It's spicy. And the phenolic compounds, that's the thing that makes it, so when people be like, oh, the phenols, that's what they're talking about. It makes everything come out. The reason why we're using ginger is because it's warming, it's a stimulant, it's dry. The reason why we're using onion is because it's antimicrobial, it's a diuretic, which means that if you can't go to the bathroom, and here's another thing, when you look up these books and you're finding out what these things do, you can use them in other parts of your body. So that's why people say that you could put onions on the bottom of your feet, or you can put onions on your chest, or you can make a paste. In one of the books that I was reading, this herbalist said that he was in the woods with his daughter, and they were living in a cabin in the winter, and his daughter started coughing and barely breathing. She started breathing really shallow like this, and his wife looked at him and was like, do something. He remembered that he had an onion in his garden because he tripped over it earlier that day. It was the last one. He went outside during the winter. He pulled the onion out the ground, and he chopped it up on the porch in the cold, and then he added some oil that he had into the pot. He heated it for a second, and then he put it in a diaper that they had, and then he taped it to his daughter's chest because they were so far away. They were in the mineral wilderness, and that's called a poultice. He took this poultice and he put it on her chest to make a compress. And the poultice is the ground up ingredient, the plant that he added the liquid to make it into a paste. He put it on her chest, and then they stayed up all night watching her. And then before you knew it, she was breathing better. Her chest was moving. And then by the morning, she was like, hey, Daddy, what's for breakfast? And they just were so relieved. They knew she was fine. And that was really, really a great antidote to put in here, because it really showed you, like, the power of herbs. So we have not been using these things how they used to use them, but that doesn't mean that they don't have their power. Okay, y'all, so we made our fire cider. I'm going to fill this up with honey off camera because it's really hard to get it out of this jar. But pretty much, if you want to make yours acetum, A-C-E-T-U-M. If you want to make yours an acetum, I don't know why it's pronounced that way, but that's the way I've heard it said. It will add to medicinal properties. It will also add with the flavor, and it will make it thicker as well. You can do that after you drain it and strain it and get the liquid. You can add it later, or you can just fill this whole thing up with vinegar. And also, honey is an added expense. Honey is also a luxury. A lot of people never had honey, so they were just making straight up herbal vinegars. So if you had the privilege to be able to have some honey and then make yours into a cough syrup later, so let's say I drained all of this, it turned from this to this, and then I added honey to it, it'll make it thicker and more like a syrup. So cough syrup, that's where we get the word from. All right, so pretty much that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for tuning in. If I'm forgetting something, please let me know. I'm starting to clean my mess. In the meantime, giving you a second to tell me if I'm missing anything, but it's really not that complicated. If you want to make another version, I did post 3 other recipes. One was the 50 gram one. One was the 25 gram one. The other one, I even put the reasons why you can use it. It had thyme, rosemary, lemon peels. No, real lemon, orange, grapefruit, honey, and vinegar. When I tell you it was kind of good, it was kind of good. So there's all different kinds that you can make. That one had a lot of vitamin C, a lot of antioxidants. That one was, so, you know, whatever you have in your kitchen, whatever you feel like makes you feel better. Oregano is great for the sinuses. Ginger, honey, all these things are antimicrobial, antibacterial. So if you don't know what to do, just cut it all up and put it in a jar. You can fill your jar all the way up. Oh yeah, that's one thing. You need to fill your jar all the way up, because the less air in it, the better. So fill your jar all the way up. And let's say I didn't have enough vinegar to fill this up. You know what I would do? I would take it out of this jar and I would try to make it fit in this one. And it's possible, because this is 25 grams. I fit 50 grams of every single that we use today in one of these. But you know what I had to do to make it smaller? Dun, 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 dun. I have to put it in the blender to do so. So it looked like a nasty mush, but it worked just as well. Hey, chatty chat. Herbal vinegars were people's way of using the small things that they had. Sometimes they would fill the whole thing up with just onions. They would fill the whole thing up with just garlic. They would fill it up with whatever they had. And honestly, it would help them. And it was the only way that they can fight against the winter. It was the only way that they could fight against colds. They had no hospitals. So please know, when you're talking to your grandparents and stuff like that, they were not going to the hospitals unless it was a broken bone or something like that. So this actually works. I use it on my own family. We get the kids to drink it because we tell them that they're ninjas. And then they all line up and we be like, well, let's say Raylan, hey Ray, here's your challenge today. Will you accept the challenge? And she'd be like, yes, I will. And she drinks the whole thing. She'll drink whatever version of that we give her. And we'll be like, you have won, this thing. And then they encourage the next kid to do it. Even the little babies do it. And when you introduce this stuff to your kids, they really, really, really do get used to it. Sometimes I let them vote. I'm like, y'all want this in y'all smoothie or no? And sometimes they're like, no, I just want to take it as a shot. So they'll take their little shot of their herbal vinegar. They get to hacking and coughing all the nasty out. We had a tissue ready for them. And then they be like, can I have my smoothie now? We like, yup. And then my other niece, she like, put mine in my smoothie. I don't care. So she don't care that her smoothie got a little vinegar aftertaste. She don't care. She wanted it in her smoothie and that's it. So sometimes we add it to tea. You can add it to your food. You can use it as salad dressing. Salad dressing that's actually medicine. Sign me up. So again, it is vinegar. Tastes like vinegar. Don't expect it to be something different when it's done. And basically you let this sit for up to 8 weeks. The least amount is 4 weeks. And don't say 4 weeks is a long time, because by the time you remember that you made this, it's going to be time to drain it out. So make sure that even if you don't do a fancy label with all the ingredients like I did, I'm going to put a piece of tape on the front and I'm going to write today's date. write today's date. This is a label. Let's not be bougie. This is a label. It tells you what's in it, and that's all you got to do. When did you make it? And then we do not advertise medicine as shots to the children. We do not, disclaimer, we do not advertise medicine as shots to the children. We don't call it shots, but that's just what I called it right now. But they know it's to make them feel better, and they know, like, they take it once a day, and they tired of being sick. They be over it. They be like, well, can I have some of that stuff? And it actually works. So you will find that at first the kids is like, oh, I don't like it. But then when they see how good they feel, they be like, me too, me too. And the adults take it too. And we all be like, let's go. Let's go. You got it, you got it. And they usually get the droppers. Yeah, whatever you got to do at this point. Whether you need to put it in a stuff, whether you need to, whatever you need to do, okay? They usually do get droppers full. We have syringes and everything. I have syringes. I bought packs and packs of them from Amazon. So if you want to be super specific, you can use the syringe to tell you how much. For an adult, you could do like 10 milliliters every 4 hours. And for a kid, you could do maybe 2 milliliters. You could do 5 milliliters, because this, you can use this in lieu of Tylenol. Like if you don't have that, you just sit this on your jar, and on your shelf, and then whenever you need it, you use it. And then if you don't use it, you make sure it's in a cool, dark place. Definitely invest in some brown amber jars. And yeah, but we get the kids to take it. So people who be like, oh, kids won't take it, you have to create that culture in your house that, you know, everything is not going to taste amazing. Everything is not going to taste like candy. And then sometimes take it and not give you some candy. Bribery also works. The sugar is going to make them, you know what I'm saying, not get as well as fast. But again, I'm not teaching you how to run your house. Do what you got to do, okay? You take it. And yeah, so thanks for joining in. If y'all want to do another one of these, that's cool. Now, if y'all want to make some elderberry syrup, let me show it to y'all. This is elderberry syrup. I know because it says elderberry syrup cough. So I put a 3/4 tablespoon of mustard seed, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 1 ounce of elderberry, 16 ounces of filtered water, so a water bottle, and then 1/4 dash of cayenne powder. Look at this elderberry syrup. It tastes like berries. Elderberry syrup is amazing. So sometimes to get them to drink the herbal vinegars, we'll do this and we be like, would you like your special drops? And they be like, yes, we would. And then we'll take it and we'll put like the special drops on top, and then they'll take it all together. So yeah. So if y'all want to join me, I will forget it. So do you have it available, and how much is $25? So, for those who want me to make them some, I will make you some. I'll figure out how much it costs, but I can either make you some and mail it to you, or would you rather wait the 4 weeks and then I drain it and send it to you after that? Let me know. So yeah, I'll take some orders for this. I'll make a whole bunch. I got enough to make a whole bunch of jars. So if y'all don't want to make it, let me know and I'll make it for you. And I heard who you are. I know I'll contact you and I'll make you some. So elderberry syrup, if y'all want to make some, please let me know. We'll go live making that. Didn't we have one with scarlet colored oranges? Have one of what? I'm going to take some more elderberry syrup. Y'all, I was taking this every single day. The recipe I made, and whole time, I made this like last year, and it's still good. I keep this one in the fridge though. If you ever think something gonna go bad, put it in the fridge. Or if you feel like you finna travel when your house gonna be too hot, put it in the fridge. It'll preserve it more. But again, people didn't have refrigeration, so they would put it in their cold basements, they would put it in their cellars, or they would dig holes and put it in like a box, and they would literally put it in the ground to keep it cool. And they'll go get it, they'll go dig it up to take it. So as you can see, I have no problem taking this elderberry syrup. And actually, y'all, my boyfriend, he was in nursing school and he got really sick and he has to go to clinicals, and you cannot go to clinicals if you're sick, but then if they send you home it mess up your attendance. And so he was like, what you got? He hate the smell of vinegar, but I was giving him shots of this. I gave him Big 50. I was giving him Big 50 with elderberry syrup. And then also I was putting St. John's wort drops in his ears when he was asleep. And he woke up feeling like $1,000,000, and he went to school and he was fine. And I know it was working because he hates the smell of vinegar. Like when I'm making stuff like this, he literally just leaves out the house or he'll leave the room because he just don't like the smell of it. So the fact that he was taking it, he was asking for it, I knew it was working. So again, it's like, it don't matter. Like, everybody act like herbal medicine has to taste good. It doesn't. It doesn't. And then also, it's so versatile. Like, let's say you didn't have vinegar, but you had a whole bunch of Everclear, or you have some rum. You fill this up with that liquid, and it's going to extract all of these medicinal properties out of here just like the vinegar would. But some people don't feel comfortable giving alcohol-based things to children. I don't mind doing it because once it's extracted, you use the alcohol as an extracting agent. It's not like getting drunk off of it. And plus, I also added to other things, so it's not as astringent when you taste it. But again, vinegar is more mild. People feel more comfortable doing that. And yeah, so anyway, the point is just do what you got to do. If you have these things in your kitchen, please fill it up. If you got a jar, all you need is something with a top. Make sure that you put something in between the top. If it's a metal top, make sure you put something in between. Go make you some and send me the pictures. Go make you some and let me know. And yeah, so that's all folks. And thanks for tuning in. This will play back. I will save it and upload it again for you guys. So if you missed it, don't feel bad. Go back to the beginning. Watch the history of the word fire cider. I gave a lot of ingredients. I gave some authors. And if you want any of the authors that I listed above, please send me a message and I will send you a picture of the book and I will send you the name of the author. And I will even send you the nerdy things about each ingredient if you want to. So just all you have to do is send me a file, and if you want to purchase some from me, I will absolutely make you some fire cider and send it on over. But I kind of wonder, do y'all want the fire cider already in the jar and then you'll strain it yourself, or would you rather me wait the 4 weeks, strain it myself, and then send it to you as the finished product? So just let me know how you will like it. I got so many ingredients, and guess what? I also got some big old jars. So if you want me to make you some fire cider, please let me know, and I will make some and send it on out to you. All right. So my name is Sojay Ashaya, owner and founder of RG's Cabinet. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. All right. Peace. I don't know how to turn it off. Love you, TT. Woo!